You've previously spoken about the 5 spending pressures on the budget. Given the environment we're now heading into this next budget, how much is paying down interest and debt going to be a priority in this budget? And just to follow up on the Greens housing policy, is that something the government is considering, is looking at?
Not something we've been looking at, no. And I apologise to your colleague to your right for, I didn't mean to ignore that part of it, Eliza. So let me do it in reverse order, and you can remind me of the first one in a sec. When it comes to the Greens policy, I mean, I obviously haven't gone through it in any detail, and it sounds like neither have the Greens. I've seen that somebody's already described it as a very expensive and arbitrary lottery. I've seen that the PBO itself said that it was highly uncertain. I think one of Michael's colleagues might have called it a pretend policy in a column filed earlier today. I think this is consistent with how the Greens go about things. It's easy enough for them to write press releases with big numbers attached to it. They never have to implement anything, and they never have to make anything add up, and they quite frequently promise tens of billions of dollars for all kinds of causes. Because they know that they don't have to make it all add up at the end of the day. We've got a broad and ambitious housing policy. We've got something like 17 different initiatives. We are investing tens of billions of dollars. And if the Greens really cared about housing affordability, they'd stop running interference in the Senate on our housing policies. If they really cared about housing affordability, they'd vote for our Help to Buy scheme, which is before the Parliament. I think this is a Greens party which, they talk a big game when it comes to housing, but when the time comes to vote for more housing in the Senate, they go missing.
Just on the first question, how much is paying down interest on government debt a priority in this budget?
Well, responsible economic management is always a defining characteristic of how we approach the budget and how we approach the economy. And a big part of that to here and a big part of that from here will be trying to get a handle on this $1 trillion of Liberal debt that we inherited, because as you rightly pointed out in your question a moment ago, debt interest is one of the fastest growing costs on the budget. So, we can all think of better ways to invest money than using it to service the interest on that debt that we inherited, so it will always be a priority to try and get it down. A bit like my answer to the earlier question, we wouldn't have got anywhere near a surplus in that first year were it not for the approach we took. We wouldn't be anywhere near a second one were it not for the responsible approach that we took. You should expect us to continue to take the most responsible approach that we can, whether it's the $50 billion of savings that we found, the modest but meaningful tax changes, the banking upward revisions to revenue. All of these things have meant the budget is in much better condition than what we inherited, and that will save us on interest into the medium term. We'll do that second row there.